So, what if I told you there's this field guide for relationships, right? And it claims it can slash your odds of divorce by treating love not like a mystery, but like a science. Today, we're diving into this really controversial system that's all about turning partner selection into a super rigorous vetting process. So, yeah, buckle up, because this is definitely not your typical dating advice.
Okay, so right out of the gate, the book behind this system, it makes absolutely zero apologies. Its whole thing is to be, and I'm quoting here, absolutely brutal. It uses ideas that are designed to trigger, maybe even offend some people. But here's the thing. The goal isn't to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. It's to act as a filter, a really, really tough filter, designed to help you find that one lifelong partner by basically rejecting almost everyone else based on a very, very specific set of rules.
So, what's the big problem this whole system is trying to fix? Well, it calls modern dating the Great Deception. The idea is that we're all taught to look for comfort. Things like, oh, we both love the same Netflix show. But the author argues that's a huge fatal flaw. Because real, lasting attraction, it isn't polite, it's not something you can negotiate, it's biological. And that brings us right to the core concept, the polarity principle. I want you to think back to science class when you were playing with those little magnets. You know how opposite poles pull together and identical poles push each other away? Well, this system applies that exact same law to romance. It argues that for a bond to be passionate and to actually last, you need a major difference between what it defines as masculine and feminine energy. And get this, it even turns it into math. On a scale from 0, which is pure femininity, to 10, pure masculinity, the man's score minus the woman's score has to be at least a 3 for that passionate union to happen. Anything less than 3, you're on the fast track to what it calls roommate vibes. And if her score is higher than his, well, according to this system, you might as well start dialing up the divorce lawyers right now. All right, so here's our game plan for this tour. First, we'll dig into the polarity principle itself. Then we'll go through the specific checklists for vetting men, and then for vetting women. After that, we'll cover the universal deal breakers. And finally, we'll see how this system decodes a person's past. Okay, first up, the polarity principle. Just remember, this is the engine that drives every single test in this entire framework. So let's jump into the first set of tools. This is the checklist that's laid out for women, and it's designed to spot what the author calls a truly masculine man, the essential North Pole in this whole magnetic equation. And here is our very first test, and it's a bit of a mind bender. According to this system, a man's big, toothy grin in a photo, that's a huge red flag. It's called the honor seeker smile, and it supposedly screams insecurity. A grounded, more neutral face, though, that's a green light. It suggests he validates himself and doesn't need your approval. Next up, we've got the beard barometer. The theory here is that facial hair is actually a subconscious signal. A baby smooth face? The book claims that broadcasts he still needs mom's approval. But a short, well-groomed beard? That supposedly signals, hey, I run my own life. The system also puts a huge warning label on the people pleaser. You know the type. If a guy is constantly agreeing with you, apologizing for everything, even stuff he can't control, and just avoids any kind of conflict, he's seen as lacking a backbone. It's framed as just another form of that honor-seeking we talked about. He's trading who he really is for your approval. Okay, time to flip the script. The logic in this system is totally symmetrical. So for men vetting women, the rules are often the complete opposite of what we just went over. And this is where that symmetry gets crystal clear. For a woman, a smile is the ultimate green light. Remember how a man's smile was seen as a bad thing, as honor-seeking? Well, a woman's smile is interpreted as receptivity, openness, and high femininity. The exact same action has the complete opposite meaning. Wild, right? This source material then introduces this pretty provocative concept it calls the homosexual to the opposite sex trap. It basically warns that if a straight man is attracted to a woman who is, in its terms, too masculine, the polarity is just destroyed. The relationship might look heterosexual on the outside, but energetically, it functions like a same-sex pairing, which leads to, you guessed it, no spark. All right, so moving on from the gender checklists, the book lays out some red flags that are considered universal deal breakers. These are the warning signs that apply to absolutely everyone, no matter what their polarity score is. Okay, the biggest universal red flag is what's called a disproportionate reaction, or DR.
We're talking about a massive emotional outburst over something tiny, like full-on screaming at a waiter because they forgot the fries. The source could not be clearer on this. It's the #1 sign of instability. The book even calls it a future police report.
And the protocol for dealing with it is super strict. A 2-strike policy. The first time a deer happens, it's a warning. You just make a mental note of it. But the second time, you walk. The pattern is confirmed, the relationship is over. No discussions, no third chances.
Another one of these universal red flags is fear of abandonment. This is stuff like rapid-fire texting when you're busy, panicking if plans change just a little bit, or a constant, draining need for reassurance. According to the system, these are not cute signs of affection. They're signs of an emotional dependency that means a person just isn't ready for a serious commitment like marriage. Then there's what it calls the looks mandate. The system is completely adamant on this point. Physical attraction is not something that can be negotiated, and it won't grow over time. From day one, you have to rate your partner's looks as at least a 7 out of 10 for you personally. Anything less, it claims, is a recipe for a dead bedroom and a whole lot of resentment down the line.
All right, for our final section, we're going to look to the past. This system argues that a person's history isn't just some background noise. It's a direct preview of what your future with them is going to look like.
This is called the parent test, and it's based on a 1-to-1 ratio. The rule is dead simple. However a person treats their parents is exactly how they will treat you once that honeymoon phase wears off. So if they're disrespectful to their mom or dad, you better believe that disrespect is eventually coming your way.
Okay, here's another one that might surprise you. Say you're dating someone who's divorced. Is it a good sign or a bad sign if they seem happy about it? Like, maybe they even celebrate the anniversary of their divorce?
Well, according to the source, it's a fantastic sign. The person who celebrates their freedom, the escapee, was likely the healthy partner who managed to get out of a toxic situation. The real red flag is the hanger-on, the one who's still attached to their ex, still keeps photos around, talks about them constantly. The system suggests that person, well, they might have been the problem in the first place.
So when you boil this whole system down, what's the big takeaway? It's that attraction and long-term compatibility, they aren't some mysterious feelings that just happen. They're the result of a specific formula. The goal isn't to compromise your way into a happy relationship. It's to select the right partner from the very beginning using a rigid, systematic process. Which, leaves us with one final question to chew on. In an age of algorithms and analytics, where we use data to optimize everything from our finances to our fitness routines, is applying such a rigid formula to something as personal as love the next logical step? Or does it completely miss the point of human connection? That's something to think about.